So I'm happy to invite BK to guide us today. BK, I've known BK for many years. They're a dear friend of mine. So Brian Kimmel, who goes by BK, they, them, or any pronoun used with respect, is a newly ordained Dharma teacher in the Plum Village Tradition. We're so lucky to have them. BK is a bridge builder, artist, queer, gender non-conforming, and second generation Indonesian-Minahasan. I hope I said that right, BK. If not, please let me know. They work as a trauma counselor for individuals and couples and are registered as a dance movement therapist in the Seattle area. You can also visit briankimmel.com for more information. I will stick that one in the chat as well. So without any further ado, welcome BK. We look forward to your offerings today.
Okay, wonderful. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Nomi, for the introduction, and thank you, Earth holders, all the hosts and coordinators. Can you hear me okay? Is this kind of the mic check portion too? Okay, just let me know if you can't hear me. And I'm gonna give a time check. So we'll go to about 8:35 or 35 past the hour. Is that about right? But just let me know if I go over time. I'm going to try to keep it concise so we can go to Dharma sharing. I am going to share a practice this morning that I have used myself, and it's something that I didn't realize there was already a practice of earth art. I just came up with the title, and then I did a little research, not very long research, and said, oh, there's already communities doing earth art. So you might want to look at, just type in Google earth art, and things will pop up, hopefully in the browser, that you can look up some of the work that people are doing. But I didn't necessarily learn from them. It was just a collective. I took it from the collective consciousness, I guess. So yeah, I'm BK, and I'm calling in from Seattle, Washington, on Capitol Hill, overlooking the Sound, and I can see the Space Needle from here, if you know that emblem in the Seattle skyline. It is the traditional lands and the stolen lands occupied now of the Coast Salish, Duwamish, and Suquamish. And I feel very honored and privileged to be on this land that I have walked and rested on for most of my life. I've lived here and there throughout the United States and traveled globally, but this is where I was born and raised. So I just want to offer that acknowledgement to this place that I am humbled by. So you may, for yourself, connect with the ancestors of your land and the living relatives and descendants who are stewards of the land that you are currently on. And with this, I have in my image the people who are here with us, who are stewards of this land. Also think of the many other beings who are here with us, the trees, the birds, the insects. And I feel a certain sort of way when I am doing these acknowledgements and practicing these ways of coming into awareness of land. I position my body in such a way where I can receive the information. I can receive the names of those who have walked this earth, this land. I might posture my body in a way that allows me to breathe more openly if that is helpful. Sometimes it's an openness of the sense of the hearing. So I'm working with the senses now. You can see my hands moving, maybe, if you are able to see on the Zoom. Feeling my hands just in touch with my body. And there's no right or wrong way. It's just finding a way for ourselves in the best way that you can be present. Still early morning for me. I have still a morning voice. my, my my nose is a little clogged still from lying down. And it's a beautiful morning. I take a look outside and there's some blue sky out. There's some clouds. So without even I'm not really guiding a practice right now, but this is like my practice. So I'm kind of letting you into what I am doing in the morning or in my day, coming back to being present with my environment, with the land and the spiritual descendants and relatives of the land. So at any time during this uh, Sangha gathering, you can employ these practices. Maybe taking a look around. If you feel a little stressed in yourself or anxious, you might take a look around. Maybe name a few things in your space or the room. You might indulge in some movement like I'm doing now. I'm stretching my arms above my head. Just finding a way for yourself. And I'm not particularly attached to any one form of meditation necessarily. For those who know me, it's like I go with the flow. But I can do crisis relief too. If you're in crisis, I can take you there. That's my job. I can take you in the right direction. Um, we have the practice with the bell that I'll be inviting the sound of the bell. So this is a readying ourselves for a practice of radical self-care and deep listening, whatever that means for you. So take a moment to gauge where you are in your body and mind. And I just heard some bird sounds. Birds are singing outside. Whatever way is helpful for you to come back to yourself. If you've been a little far away from yourself. Maybe that's closing your eyes. Maybe that's feeling your seat. Maybe that's feeling your bare feet on the surface of the floor, connecting with a sensation or a texture, whether it's still or moving, whether you are still or moving. And I'll invite the sound of the bell, and we say that the sound of the bell is the voice of the Buddha or our awakened nature, helping us to come back little by little. And you might, as you hear the sound of the bell, maybe even since we're on mute, we can hum with the sound of the bell, or hearing the start, the middle, and the end of the sound of the bell. So we'll have 3 sounds of the bell. So these are 3 opportunities to come back, to engage with ourselves as a part of life, inside, outside. So you might, just for a brief moment, engage with a question. And this is an invitation. What is your practice or your aspiration with the earth? Be like a global sense of the earth, like you see the image of the earth, or you sense the expansiveness of the earth. Could be, what is your practice or your aspiration with the earth, like just your contact with the earth. Any element of earth. What is your practice and aspiration with the earth? A moment of quiet reflection. Thank you. So you might need to take a note. If you want to make a note, you can make a note of something. And I also, in the sharing of this practice of earth art and transformative site specific practices, site specific means like when you're somewhere, like you're at the grocery store, you're at the market, you're in your bedroom, you're out in the yard or out in the forest. Whenever you're somewhere, that is the site, and it's specific to that site. So you're making offering in that site, in that place. So this word site specific, I learned in my training as a dance improv choreographer. I spent my years as undergrad at Naropa University, used to be Naropa Institute, and I trained with Barbara Dilley in contemplative dance practice. And Barbara Dilley was the first president of Naropa, and she opens the Summer Institute that's with dance, a dance program. And Naropa University is a Buddhist-inspired university in Boulder, Colorado, and sending prayers to Colorado with the recent fire. So this practice of contemplative dance merged with, it was a dance improv, avant-garde, and a movement practice and meditation. So Barbara Dilley was really the inspiration for my learning how to be more in my body and working with the space around me. And one day I was traveling, and this was recently, I was on the beach, and I had an experience of seeing a whale that had uh, died on the beach. And so I will be sharing some uh, images that might be strong, like either talking about them or I hope to show a very brief video. So if this is alarming to you or causes negative stress, just um, please do take care. So either turn away or um, close your ears, and I'll try to. There's not too many images. There's just one image of a whale, so I will forewarn you. And it's a brief image we have. It's about a minute and a half video. So this is what I work with. As a person I am, a practitioner, mindfulness practitioner, and I'm a meditation. I teach meditation. I'm a musician as well. I'm a dancer. I sing. I play piano, and I'm a counselor, and I'm a body worker. And so I bring all of myself, all of the whole package of BK anywhere I go. And that might be an experience you have either being with me, but being with yourself, like you are you wherever you are. So that just aligns very well with site specific work. Like, so you don't have to necessarily do anything different. You might be a sort of person who carries a notepad in your pocket. Like for a long time, I was working on poetry a poetry project, and I kept a pad of paper and pen in my pocket. Or nowadays, you have a cell phone maybe that has all kinds of things you can do with the cell phone. So that to me is an implement of your artistic creative life. So whatever those implements are for you, or whatever ways you might engage in your creativity. So this is a moment to kind of think about ways that you might be inspired in your daily life to have these kind of offerings of site specific. And I say transformative because I'll get to the video. So when I went to the beach and I saw the whale, I was immediately like transported. Like I wasn't. I've like my human centric self was like, oh, there's other beings in the world. There's other things in the world who don't have human form, and it was such an extraordinary experience, really, that I just felt moved. I just felt so moved, and I feel moved quite often, but in this case, I felt moved in a very specific way. I felt moved, and I wanted to offer something to the whale, um, and that doesn't ordinarily happen in such a way. I've written music for many people, but and I have a song "Craving the Rain," which was about a drought. So you could say that is a certain response that I have to what is happening in our world and environment in our land. So this to me was a response. Like I felt something and I wanted to offer something. And it wasn't pre-planned, and it was out in the open in the public. And there weren't that many people around because it was kind of an isolated place. So there's that. Um, So I want to share this video, and this might be something that you can bring into your Dharma sharing group as well, just in the response that you have to it. So I'll talk a little bit more after. I just wanted to prep what this offering was. And so notice as you watch and listen, or however you're relating to this film, notice what you notice in you. And again, if it's something that is too much coming up, feel free to leave it a little bit, or do what you need to do to ground yourself and use all your tools to be able to be present. So I'm going to attempt to share this, and then I'll come back, say a little bit, and then we should be close to time to go to Dharma sharing. We might hopefully have a little bit more practice. Okay, let's see what I can do here. And I hope that the sound, we'll have to check if the sound is on, but the sound is less important. Can you see? Can people see? Okay. Um, can you hear? No. No. Okay. We'll have in silence for a moment. You don't have to hear. So take a moment and notice and maybe be in contact with sensation or what you notice in yourself, a moment of quiet reflection, and I'll invite the sound of the bell. And again, if there's something you need to write or note or draw or some kind of movement you need to make in order to be complete or to be able to put it aside for a moment, please do. I am going to maybe try to share the link. I think that, so it's a private video. It's not something that I'm sharing out everywhere. Uh, I don't mind that you share it, but uh, it doesn't need to be shared. I think because of the nature of it, it wasn't a performance. Let me try to share it, and that's the point of the image. Oh, the Donna link goes directly to that video. Oh, oh, that's the someone. So we'll have to fix the Donna. Okay. um. So this was not a performance. That's why I say it's transformative offering, site specific transformative offering of the heart. It was something that I was compelled to offer, and I know that I can't. I'm in this part. I was in Iceland, and this is not a land that I'm familiar with. I'm not speaking to the land stewards of the land and the indigenous people, so I'm not attempting to offer any kind of ceremonial or traditional ritual. Not even from the cultures that I might have authority to offer those from. It was a human to whale uh, communication. That's how I really felt it, because I remember the experience after. I was very moved. I was touched. I did feel like there was some communication. And again, I this is not something that I often experience. I don't know how many oftentimes I've seen a whale up close, but there was just something about it that moved me, and I thought, oh, this can be a practice. This can be something that I can do anywhere I am and feel okay with making these offerings. Is one, for me, these offerings put me in touch with life. They put me in touch with the reality of what is happening in my world. And so I look around, and how many things that we have a response to, we can feel in our bodies, in ourselves, and learn how the skill to be able to be present and attending to these things. So even while I'm moving, like you see me moving around, like this is just kind of how BK orients to life. This is how I um receive life inside me. So for yourself, you might have different ways. You might have ways of even something as simple as washing the dishes. Like I really enjoy washing the dishes as well. And so there's a moment to interact with water, the element of water coming out of the faucet, and all the minerals and the organisms in the water. Like there's a lot already in just washing our hands or washing the dishes. So there is another way to offer. And so the way that I place my hands under the water, the way that I make contact, I communicate with the water and the minerals in the water. So those mundane things aren't out of the scope of are these communions with life. So sometimes it's a position. So you might we'll try a somatic practice, like fitting into this box. I can look at this box of as in the camera and the laptop. I think, okay, this laptop is actually, there's some minerals in the laptop. It's an organism. Not saying that I'm just using this as an example. You can use birds or trees or something too, but right now I'm going to use the laptop, and I'm going to orient with the laptop. And I see that one of the things that I notice about the laptop is in the Zoom world, there's this square. So I ordinarily think that I have to fit into the box, into the square. But it's like, okay, I really want to stretch out from the square. What if I played with not being in the square and being in the square? And so you might, for yourself, maybe if I were doing a somatic body practice with being in the square, yeah, relate to, yeah, okay, I'm going to do something like, instead of thinking, oh, I have to be here, I'm going to do a site specific work to being inside and outside the rectangle of Zoom if you're on the video. If you're on the call, it's like sometimes you're orienting to the phone, the shape of the phone. You're orienting to the little box or the circular thing of the phone. Any implement that you're using to connect with the call, you can relate to in different ways. So that's kind of the first step to have a position where, oh, I actually, maybe I don't have to fit into the rectangle, this have to, like that's a way of listening deeply listening. And it can also be a way of radical self-care. So like, oh, actually it feels really good in myself to be more open. Like I can stretch in the box, I can back up from the box. I can sigh. And so you apply this. You apply this in your art. This is kind of the self-care part of the art, and we're going to be closing here soon. So I'm kind of wrapping up. So when you make that gestures, these offerings, however you make the offerings you're called to, it comes from that place of listening. And you position yourself, oh, I actually don't have to be in a certain way now. Maybe there's a little bit more that I could do. Maybe I can, even though I'm in public, maybe I could stop and write a poem. Maybe I can connect with a flower, and just touch and feel the flower, or just admire from a distance. So this is a way of connecting, and you're offering yourself. It's an offering from your heart, from your person, and it's not a performance. You don't, or it's not you're not making a protest or something. And I don't have anything against performance or protest. I do both. And this is about offering from your heart. It's about being with, listening deeply, and allowing that response to come more fluidly. Okay, that is about what I have, and I hope that this is something that you might be able to apply into your life. It's a lot to fit in a little box of 30 minutes, but it's a little bit of something. And you'll have the YouTube link to the video if you want to watch it. It actually has beautiful sounds of the waves in the background. So that might be helpful for some as well. And you can also reach out to me if you're interested in more, working on a new website that is not so BK centered and more like offering centered. So hope this was nourishing for you, and that you can take this to your Dharma sharing group and see how you're encouraged by it or not encouraged. That's okay too. Okay, thank you. Are we ready for groups? Okay.